Welcome everyone to the Mastermind Book Club. This is David Diaz, and we are your Mastermind Club here, reviewing the second part of the Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. Now, tonight we're reviewing the last four insights, 9, total of 9. There's supposedly a 10th, but I don't know much about it yet, but I'm sure it will come. So here are the first 5 prophecies that we went over. The Celestine Prophecy is a book which speaks of a spiritual unfolding that no science or religion has yet fully explained. I'm just going to review these quickly. Becoming aware of the coincidences and synchronicities. That's number 1. Let me just see if I can mute, so I hear some background noise. There we go. Okay, good. Then insight number 2, putting our current awareness into a longer historical perspective. If you need to review these, we did it last week in part 1. I'm just giving you the basic insight that was discussed last week. Number 3, everything is energy, and we are energy. Everything we think of is energy. We create it, and once energy is created, it is not destroyed. It is either realized or it goes to waste. That's usually what the two sides of energy are. Number 4, competition for energy. There's always competition for energy, but you should be in competition with yourself or looking for ways to be better or similar to someone that you want to model in life. Number 5, attaining energy from the source, meaning infinite intelligence, God, a supreme being, attaining energy from the source. And that's how we meditate. Number 5 is attaining energy from the source. Control dramas, clearing the past. Very, very important to control dramas, clearing the past. Everyone is said to have their own control drama, way of controlling those around them in order to get energy coming their way, as Insight 4 says. To avoid taking energy from others, we must tap into the universal energy, Insight 5, and also become aware of our personal control drama and how it was created in childhood. There are 4. These are very important. This is how you measure people, and I've noticed that they are very useful. Aloofness, that's number 1, aloofness. Withdrawing from others, appearing mysterious and secretive, like you don't know what's going on, telling oneself that it is out of being cautious, but it is actually in order to create interest and pull someone in closer. You get their full attention and they send you energy. You don't know what's going on. I don't understand this. So on purpose. Interrogating. Most people that we're going to run into will be one of these 2 types, either interrogators, that they probe or ask lots of questions in order to find something wrong with the answers of someone to then criticize and draw energy from the other person. Number 3, poor me. These people take energy by being able to easily make those around them feel guilty for no reason, just by being in their presence. They create a feeling like you haven't done enough for them. And the 4th one, intimidator. An intimidator takes energy from others using aggression. An intimidator / interrogator is usually a policeman, an authority figure, but most people will either ask questions or will demand answers. So either you ask or you demand. Intimidate. I'm better than you. I have more energy than you. How these archetypes are created: an intimidator parent creates a poor me or another intimidator child. An intimidator usually creates a poor me type of person, right? For example, when faced with an intimidator parent, child might cry, poor me, and when that doesn't work, eventually turn to aggression to become heard. Interrogators create aloof children. Their constant probing and criticism forces the child to become hyper aware of what the interrogator is doing, so as to not do anything wrong that the interrogator would notice. On the flip side, an aloof parent creates an interrogator child. The parent is preoccupied and ignored ignoring the child, becoming aloof would not work because the parent wouldn't notice. So the child resorts to probing and prying and trying to find something wrong in the aloof parent to force attention and energy. I know that these words, since it's the first time that they're being introduced together, might sound similar. It took me a bit to realize what they mean, and I heard them a few times, and I copied them down, and I listened to them, and I understand where this is going. There is a tendency to see behaviors in others, but in order to be free of these dramas, we must identify them in ourselves and transcend them. So there are 4 types of, let me just go back, control dramas in clearing the past. So you can identify with either being an interrogator, an intimidator, an aloof person, or poor me. At one point or another, we usually become one of these, and it depends on whatever circumstance we're experiencing. Number 7, the 7th insight, using intuition, life questions, and coincidences. So, for example, how do we use that? Just this morning, I was going to eat an avocado with my toast, and I looked at it, smelled it, and it was weird. It was like, something's wrong with this. And sure enough, I didn't eat it. And sometimes that'll happen to me. Or what happens when all of a sudden you're ready to eat, I don't know, like a grape, and it falls out of your hand? Don't you think that's intuition? Possibly. But in reality, these are the things, and this is very important, that this book mentions. Number 1, if you feel, or if you have a dream that you're supposed to get on a plane in the morning, and you do not, and you have a dream, and the dream is something happening on the plane, according to this book, you shouldn't get on the plane. That's what it says. I don't know if you're going to live up to that or not. That's what it says. On the other hand, if you have a dream where you're receiving a big check, let's say even for $1,000, it means that you're probably going to receive money, and you've got to associate yourself with that and attract it into life, because that energy can become a thing if you demand it, if you create it, if you visualize it. This is how you use your intuition, your life questions, and the coincidences that happen to you. Another huge coincidence is that you're driving along, and all of a sudden you look to the right, and boom, the guy that's to your right is looking back at you. Isn't that wild how that happens? Or if you're in an event and all of a sudden somebody looks at you, you're meant to cross paths, even for a moment. There might be some message that the other person has. Take a moment to introduce yourself. Take a moment to say, hey, do I know you from somewhere? I've had these experiences with other people. Have you? These are powerful experiences. Number 8, relating to others. So, firstly, children, we must view them as they really are endpoints in our evolution that lead us forward. They need our energy consistently and unconditionally if they are to grow up without control dramas to get in their energy. The energy must be constant, but need not come from only parents. In fact, it's better if it doesn't. So meaning, we don't always have to take care of our own children. We could have somebody else taking care of them, as long as they have a way to feed on energy as well, right? Secondly, addiction to another person. We can become engaged in involving ourselves, but this evolution can be stopped dead in its track, suddenly by addiction to another person. An addiction to another person. Now, if you fall in love and you meet someone that first day, is that true love? Not necessarily, according to this book. If you meet and you feel like falling in love and you give it some time and you step away from this person and then you come back, that could be love. And that's how my wife and I have been together, because we met, we were deeply in love, but we spent 1 year without pretty much communicating with each other. And actually, it was 3 years, 3 years. And then, boom, it happened. We're together 11 years later. This is the feeling which happens when the initial bliss and euphoria of falling in love ceases. Third, we become addicted to someone of the opposite sex because we have yet to access the opposite sex energies in ourselves due to dysfunctional family upbringings. That is the first time you fall in love. Finally, everyone we meet has a message for us. Everyone we meet has a message for us. Remember that. Everyone we meet has a message for us. Everyone we meet has a message for us. Why am I repeating this? Because when we have that connection relating to others, there's a connection that means that there's a message that will get us ahead. If we listen, we will hear it. Sometimes we keep running into the same people over and over unexpectedly. We haven't yet received a message from them. So just remember that. Number 9, conscious evolution. Human culture is changing as a result of conscious evolution. We will voluntarily decrease our population so that we may all live in the most energetically powerful and beautiful places on earth. Did you guys understand what I just read there? All right. Voluntarily, the population will be decreased. I read this in the book. All right. The population is going to be decreased one way or another. We will intentionally let forests go uncut so that they can mature and give us energy. So there will be more of these beautiful places for us to live. Humans will live amongst 500-year-old trees, but within easy travel distance of an urban area of incredible technological wizardry. Food, clothing, and transportation will be fully automated, and our needs will be met without the need of currency, yet also without overindulgence or laziness. So paper currency is becoming obsolete. Eventually, it's going to be ruled out. Gasoline in cars is going to become obsolete. GM, General Motors, gave it 15 years. I'd say that within 10 years, most people are going to have an electrical car. So, and, great, fantastic. This should have happened many years ago when the water run car was invented. But however, the powers that be killed that person. And that's the reality. We will be guided by our intuitions to know what to do and when, and this will fit harmoniously with the actions of others around us. Don't be afraid to communicate if you feel you have a connection to someone else. That's how I met with many of you. I felt a need to communicate, and look where we are today. It's been a few years since I met you, and I know that God has put us here together so that we can all grow, nourish, and consume on these important books that have been put in front of us to be able to grow and expand our horizons and our family's horizons. All right. Instead of being materialistic, we will find our life purpose. Employment hours will be cut so that 2 to 3 people can do one full-time job. Money won't be an issue. When we give, it creates a void, and in return we receive. The more money we give, the more we will receive. We will have more than we could possibly give away. Until this time, we could not feed the poor or save the environment because so long we have not been able to release our fear of scarcity and need to control. So we were not able to give to others. Living in forests, we will all have more energy, and our process of evolution will accelerate. So let's see if this is it. Yep, this is it. So this book, what I want to tell you is, it's a story. I'm not asking you to believe in it, but it is up to you. You're free to decide whatever you want on it. The Celestine Prophecy, to me, partly is realistic and partly has been exaggerated. But it's up to you to figure out what is real to you. I know for a fact that we all have energy and that we all can create it. But what are you going to do with that energy? How far are you willing to go with it? Are you going to believe it for the rest of your life, or you're just going to believe it for a few days and then on with the next one? So that's it with my review for the Celestine Prophecy. I want to thank you all for being here on this channel, your channel, the Mastermind Book Club, signing off. Thank you and have a good night, everyone.